The Little Boat to the West, the story of Mother Cabrini. Long ago, in a small town in northern Italy called Sant'Angelo Lodigiano, lived a young girl named Frances. Everyone called her Cecchina. Cecchina had a big heart and even bigger dreams. She would sit by the sparkling river and fold tiny boats out of paper. She filled them with purple violets, imagining they were missionaries traveling far across the sea to China to help people. Frances grew up with her older sister, Rosa. Frances often felt tired and weak because her health was fragile, but her spirit was as strong as a lion. One day, she told Rosa, "I will be a missionary. I will go where no one else wants to go." Rosa smiled, though she worried about her little sister. They looked at a map together, tracing the long lines across the oceans. When she grew up, Frances became a teacher. She loved her students and taught them that everyone is special. She wore a simple dress and a kind smile every day. Even though she was busy in the classroom, her heart still whispered about the tiny boats and the people far away who needed love and care. Frances went to work at a place called the House of Providence. It was a home for children who had no families. It was a very difficult place with many challenges. But Frances and her friend, Sister Chiara, worked hard. They scrubbed floors, cooked meals, and sang songs to make the children feel safe. Eventually, Frances started her own group of helpers called the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart. Frances wanted to take her sisters to China, just like her paper boats. She traveled to Rome to meet Pope Leo XIII. She knelt before him and shared her dream. The Pope looked at her kindly but shook his head. "Not to the east, Frances, but to the west," he said. He told her about the thousands of Italian immigrants in America who were lonely and struggling. Frances was surprised, but she knew what she had to do. She and Sister Chiara boarded a massive steamship. The Atlantic Ocean was big and the waves were very high. Many people on the ship were scared and seasick, but Frances walked among them, offering prayers and a steady hand. She was finally becoming a missionary on a real boat. In 1889, the ship finally arrived in New York City. The city was loud, gray, and very crowded. Frances stepped onto the dock, carrying only a small suitcase. She saw tall buildings and felt the cold wind, but she wasn't afraid. She knew that God had a special plan for her in this new land. Frances went to a neighborhood called 5 Points. It was a place where many poor immigrants lived in tiny, dark rooms. She met a little boy named Luca, who was sitting alone on a cold stone step. He was hungry and his clothes were torn. Frances knelt down and gave him a piece of bread, promising that she would build a place where he would always be welcome. Frances had no money, but she had a lot of faith. She talked to a kind builder named Antonio. She showed him some old, empty buildings and told him her plan for a school and an orphanage. Antonio wasn't sure at first, but Frances's courage inspired him. Together, they began to transform the broken buildings into beautiful places of hope. Soon, Frances opened schools, orphanages, and even a big hospital to care for the sick. She visited a young girl named Maria, who was resting in a clean, soft bed in the new hospital. Frances tucked the blanket around her and told her a story. Mother Cabrini, the girl who once sent paper boats to the east, had become the mother of immigrants in the West, changing the world with her love.